In Monaco, there is a truth few people ever notice. Some of the most powerful and expensive supercars don't belong to billionaire men. They are driven by women who prefer to remain almost invisible. When people talk about the Monaco luxury lifestyle, they imagine mega yachts, private jets, and high-profile male tycoons. But if you spend enough time on the streets of Monte Carlo, a different reality quietly reveals itself. Rare Bugattis, limited edition Ferraris, and bespoke paganists glide past, often with female owners who draw no attention to themselves at all. They are not influencers, they don't chase headlines or post their lives online, they don't need to prove anything. Yet the moment they step out of a supercar, Monaco understands one thing clearly. This is real power. For these women, supercars are not toys or status symbols. They are carefully chosen statements about control, precision, and how to exist at the very top without ever asking for permission. And behind many of these cars are stories the public has never been allowed to hear. Before we continue, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Inside the Billionaires for exclusive access to the world few ever see. Because in the next part, you'll discover why Monaco's billionaire women choose their supercars in ways the rest of the world doesn't, and the one reason they're always several steps ahead of everyone else. In Monaco, the most powerful women are rarely the loudest, and that is exactly why they control the room. Billionaire women in Monaco do not fit the global stereotype of wealth. You won't recognize them from viral interviews or flashy red carpet appearances. In fact, most people walk past them every day without realizing who they are. Yet behind closed doors, these women sit at the center of family empires, investment funds, and legacy fortunes that shape Europe's financial landscape. Unlike many public-facing elites, Monaco's billionaire women value discretion above recognition. Their influence doesn't come from visibility, it comes from access. Access to private banking networks, generational advisors, and circles where decisions are made quietly without press releases or social media announcements. This culture of silence is not accidental. In Monaco, privacy is power. Many of these women are heirs to old money, but inheritance alone doesn't explain their authority. They are often strategic partners within their families, managing assets, overseeing diversification, and making long-term decisions that protect wealth across generations. Others are self-made investors who relocated to Monaco not for attention, but for stability, security, and control over their personal lives. What truly sets them apart is how they navigate status. In a city where luxury is everywhere, standing out is unnecessary. Instead, they blend in. And that is exactly what allows them to move freely. No entourage, no spectacle, just presence. When they arrive somewhere, people who matter already know who they are. This mindset extends beyond business and social life. It influences every choice they make, including something as visible as a supercar. In Monaco, even a vehicle becomes part of a larger strategy. How to be seen just enough, but never exposed. And once you understand how these women think about power, you begin to realize something unsettling. Their cars are not chosen for admiration, speed, or attention, but for a reason most outsiders will never suspect. For billionaire women in Monaco, a supercar is not a symbol of excess. It is a form of communication. A silent language understood only by those inside the elite circle. While the rest of the world sees horsepower, price tags, and brand prestige, Monaco's inner society reads something entirely different. Intention, positioning, and control. Every choice matters. The brand, the rarity, the configuration, even how often the car is driven. A brightly wrapped hypercar that screams for attention might impress tourists, but in Monaco it can signal insecurity. That's why many billionaire women choose cars that appear understated at first glance, yet are instantly recognized by those who know exactly what they're looking at. This is where the difference between male and female power dynamics becomes clear. Many men use supercars to dominate visually. Women in Monaco use them to filter access. A specific Ferrari specification might tell a private banker, this person has factory-level relationships. A rare Bugatti option might quietly confirm generational wealth. These messages are never spoken, they're decoded. What's fascinating is how restraint becomes authority. Driving a car that blends into Monaco's luxury landscape is not about hiding wealth, it's about mastering it. When everything around you is expensive, standing out loses its value. Instead, precision becomes the real flex. For these women, the supercar is also a boundary. It controls how others approach them, how much curiosity they invite, and how much distance they maintain. The car becomes a moving shield, admired, respected, but never intrusive. In a city where privacy is currency, that matters more than attention. And there's another layer most people never consider: timing. Some cars are driven only at specific hours, specific locations, specific social moments. Not randomly, strategically. In Monaco, even being seen once can be enough. Once you start to understand this unspoken language, a disturbing realization begins to form. Some of the most powerful messages in Monaco are being delivered on four wheels, without anyone realizing they were ever spoken. Some of the rarest hypercars in Monaco are never photographed because their owners don't want them to be remembered. Among Monaco's billionaire women, rarity is not measured by price or performance, but by access. While the public obsesses over launch numbers and auction results, the most exclusive cars in the Principality are often the ones no one is allowed to talk about. These are vehicles secured through private relationships long before any official announcement is made. Limited production hypercars from Bugatti, Ferrari, and Pagani do exist in Monaco, but rarely in factory form. Many are commissioned quietly, with specifications that will never appear in brand catalogs. Certain color combinations, materials, or mechanical tweaks are approved only for clients with decades-long histories with the manufacturer. For billionaire women, these cars are not trophies. They are confirmations of trust. What makes these vehicles truly different is how they are treated. They are not paraded during Grand Prix week or parked outside luxury hotels. Some are driven only a few times a year, often at night, often without witnesses. Others are stored permanently in climate-controlled garages, serving no practical purpose except one: to exist. In Monaco, simply owning such a car, even unseen, changes how doors open. Manufacturers offer early access, designers listen more carefully, invitations arrive without being requested. The car becomes a passport inside an invisible system where recognition matters more than exposure. There are whispers of Ferrari one-off commissions linked to female collectors, or Bugatti builds completed without public delivery ceremonies. No photos, no press, no social proof. And that is exactly the point. The absence of visibility protects both the owner and the asset. What's most unsettling is this: some of these hypercars are more valuable in silence than in motion. Their worth grows precisely because no one can confirm they exist. And once you realize that certain cars in Monaco are powerful because they remain unseen, you begin to question what other forms of luxury are deliberately hidden, and who is quietly benefiting from them. In Monaco, personalization isn't about standing out. It's about leaving a signature only the right people can recognize. For billionaire women in Monaco, customizing a supercar is never a cosmetic exercise. It is a deliberate act of authorship. While the rest of the world focuses on loud colors or extreme specifications, these women work directly with manufacturers to embed identity into details that are almost impossible to notice unless you know where to look. This is where Monaco separates itself from every other luxury capital. Personalization here is subtle, intellectual, and deeply symbolic. Interior materials may reference family heritage, private art collections, or even architectural elements from personal residences. A specific leather grain, a custom stitch pattern, or a unique dashboard finish can quietly reference decades of legacy without announcing anything publicly. Some specifications are designed to be understood only by factory insiders. A certain shade may look neutral in daylight, but reveal a complex undertone under Monaco's evening lights. A seemingly standard wheel design may be exclusive to a single client worldwide. These are not features chosen for admiration. They are markers of relationship and trust. What's especially striking is that many of these women reject excess even when it's available. They could request anything, yet often choose restraint. In Monaco, over-customization can signal insecurity. Precision, on the other hand, communicates confidence. The car becomes a refined extension of how they operate socially, controlled, selective, and intentional. This approach also ensures longevity. Trends fade, but meaning does not. A supercar built around personal symbolism remains relevant long after market hype disappears. It becomes timeless, not because it's loud, but because it's personal. And here's the part few people ever consider. These customizations are often designed with future ownership in mind. Some details are meant to be inherited, recognized decades later by those who understand the lineage. Once you grasp this, a new question quietly emerges. What happens when a supercar stops being an object of desire and becomes a generational message waiting to be decoded? Billionaire women in Monaco do not drive their supercars the way the world expects. There are no aggressive accelerations, no roaring engines echoing through tunnels, no need to prove capability. In a place where performance is assumed, restraint becomes the true mark of authority. Their driving style reflects the culture of the principality itself, measured, deliberate, and quietly confident. Supercars move slowly through narrow streets, perfectly timed with traffic patterns and social rhythms. Arriving a few seconds later, or earlier, can change who notices, who approaches, and who stays away. In Monaco, timing is a form of control. Unlike high-profile collectors elsewhere, these women rarely seek attention behind the wheel. Windows remain up. Routes are familiar. There is no unpredictability. The car is not an adrenaline machine, it is a mobile environment of comfort and security. The goal is not excitement, but continuity. This calm approach also serves a practical purpose. In Monaco, everyone watches everything. Driving without drama reduces visibility, lowers curiosity, and protects privacy. A slow-moving hypercar attracts far less interest than a loud one revving through the harbor. Paradoxically, blending in with luxury makes one harder to track. Even parking is strategic. Certain locations are avoided entirely, while others are used sparingly. Valets are chosen carefully. Sometimes the car is driven by the owner, other times it isn't. And that decision alone sends a subtle signal to those paying attention. What outsiders often misunderstand is that this behavior is not cautious, it's confident. Only those who feel no need to impress can afford to move this quietly. In Monaco, control is not expressed through dominance, but through ease. And once you begin to notice how deliberately these women navigate the streets, a deeper realization starts to form. Their driving isn't about the road at all. It's about managing visibility in a city where being seen too much can be the greatest risk. For billionaire women in the Principality, security is not an accessory added later. It is embedded into every decision surrounding their vehicles. Behind the elegance and refinement of Monaco's streets exists an invisible system designed to preserve privacy, predictability, and personal safety at all times. Many of these supercars are integrated into larger security ecosystems. Routes are planned in advance, garages are located below ground with restricted access, and arrival times are rarely spontaneous. Even the choice of a specific model can be influenced by how well it integrates with private drivers, tracking systems, or discrete reinforcement options approved directly by the manufacturer. What surprises outsiders is how seamless this protection appears. There are no visible guards, no armored aesthetics, no obvious signs of caution. That's intentional. In Monaco, visible security creates attention, and attention creates risk. True safety lies in appearing ordinary within extraordinary surroundings. Some vehicles are rotated frequently, not for novelty, but to prevent predictable patterns. Others remain untouched for long periods, used only when conditions are optimal. Certain cars never leave private parking areas during major public events, regardless of their value. Visibility is calculated, never accidental. Even service and maintenance are handled with care. Trusted technicians, private delivery windows, and controlled documentation ensure that information about a vehicle never travels further than necessary. In this environment, data is as sensitive as physical safety. For these women, a supercar is not freedom. It is a controlled space, a private environment that moves through public streets without inviting intrusion. And that balance is the true luxury Monaco offers. But here's where it becomes more intriguing. Some of the most secure vehicles in Monaco are not the most expensive ones. They're the ones no one ever associates with power. While enthusiasts watch auto shows and social media launches, the real influence happens quietly inside Monaco's elite circles. Billionaire women here don't follow trends, they shape them. Their preferences, often communicated privately to manufacturers, have the power to redefine what luxury means years before it becomes public. Major supercar brands pay close attention to these women, not because of visibility, but because of consistency. When a female client in Monaco repeatedly chooses subtle color palettes, refined interiors, or restrained exterior designs, those preferences slowly ripple into future collections. What begins as a private commission often evolves into a limited concept, and eventually into a global standard. This influence is rarely acknowledged. There are no press releases crediting them, no interviews explaining their taste. Yet designers remember, engineers adapt. Entire production strategies shift toward elegance over excess, confidence over noise. Monaco's billionaire women quietly reward brands that understand discretion. What's especially powerful is their long-term thinking. They don't buy cars for seasons, they buy for decades. That forces manufacturers to reconsider durability, timeless design, and emotional longevity. Trends driven by these women age well, precisely because they were never designed to chase attention. Even the rise of softer performance aesthetics, neutral luxury tones, and less aggressive styling can be traced back to this mindset. Monaco luxury lifestyle doesn't reject power, it refines it. And the women at its core are the architects. The irony is that most buyers worldwide believe these trends came from market research or cultural shifts. In reality, many were shaped by private conversations in Monaco garages, far from cameras and crowds. Once you understand this invisible influence, it becomes clear that the future of supercar culture may already be decided by women whose names will never appear on the spec sheet. Monaco isn't just a place to own a supercar, it's the only place where owning one truly makes sense. For billionaire women, Monaco offers something no other luxury capital can replicate: density of power. In just a few square kilometers, financial institutions, private banks, legacy families, and global decision-makers coexist in close proximity. Here, a single drive can replace a dozen meetings elsewhere. The city itself becomes a network. This is why supercars in Monaco function differently. They are not weekend toys or collector's items hidden away in distant garages. They are part of daily life, integrated into routines where discretion matters more than drama. In a city this compact, reputation travels faster than speed. Every appearance is noticed, remembered, and quietly assessed. Monaco's infrastructure reinforces this dynamic. Private parking, secure residential towers, and predictable routes allow movement without disruption. Unlike cities built for spectacle, Monaco is designed for continuity. That environment perfectly suits women who value control, privacy, and long-term positioning over short-lived attention. What truly sets Monaco apart, however, is mutual understanding. Everyone here knows the rules. Excessive display is unnecessary because wealth is assumed. Silence is respected because power is understood. In such a setting, a supercar becomes a subtle credential, not to impress the public, but to signal alignment within the elite ecosystem. For these women, Monaco is not a backdrop, it is an amplifier. A place where restraint speaks louder than noise, and where presence alone can open doors. And once you see Monaco through this lens, one final realization settles in. The city doesn't just attract the world's most powerful women, it teaches them how to remain powerful without ever being seen. Throughout this journey, we've seen that for billionaire women in Monaco, supercars are far more than machines of speed or symbols of wealth. They are tools of presence, privacy, and positioning. Every choice, from the model to the customization, from when the car appears to when it disappears, reflects a deeper understanding of power in its most refined form. The Monaco luxury lifestyle isn't defined by excess or spectacle. It's defined by control. Control over visibility, control over narrative, control over how, when, and to whom wealth reveals itself. And no one embodies this philosophy more precisely than the women who move through Monaco quietly, confidently, and without explanation. What makes their world so fascinating is not what we see, but what we don't. The unseen garages, the unheard conversations, the decisions made without applause. In Monaco, silence is not absence, it is dominance. If this perspective changed the way you see luxury, power, and supercars, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Inside the Billionaires for more rare insights into worlds few people ever get to understand. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again in the next story from Inside the Billionaires.